Claire Curran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I want to thank Fletcher Tabito for bringing this bill to the House, and I too am deeply worried about the contents of the TPP and the inability for New Zealanders to have sufficient public debate on the contents and on the process of this agreement before it actually becomes a done deal. And Labor is a party that I don't think anyone should be in any doubt tonight, listening to this debate, that Labor is a party that supports free trade. Within our party, we have varying views. And you've heard my colleague Clayton Cosgrove describe himself as a passionate free trader. Well, I wouldn't describe myself in that way, but what I would say is that I'm a passionate supporter of the right for sovereign governments to legislate in the public interest and to also support our own industries and our own innovation industries, and that is what I'm here to support tonight. And this is why Labor is supporting this bill to select committee, is so that because there is a void that exists at the moment in our country on the ability to have a sensible discussion about some of the provisions that people are most concerned about in the TPP, and that's why Labor is supporting this bill to select committee, so that there can be a sensible debate and a sensible and informed debate. And I'm really disappointed tonight to hear the National Party backbenchers displaying their blind ignorance and their rote-like message delivery when they should actually be looking more seriously at the issues and listening to their constituents. Because, Mr. Speaker, the National Party really has nothing to fear about having this discussion. In fact, they should be welcoming this discussion. Many of the TPP countries, there is a stronger debate going on inside these countries, and they should actually be saying, we have nothing to fear, we want to have this discussion, we're up for having this discussion, and that's why they should be supporting this bill tonight to select committee. And why is this bill before the House? It's before the House because there's been no ability to have the debate that needs to happen, because everything that we are debating is around what might be the case, and it's around the substance of leaks that have come out. It's not about the actual knowledge of what we know, and so the investor-state dispute settlement provisions are the thing that has been latched onto as the symbol which is emblematic of how a government and how a country can lose control of its own sovereignty and its own ability to legislate in the public good. And that is why this debate is so important, and why it should go to select committee. Because everybody should be very clear about this, that if this agreement does get to the point of being signed, when it gets to the Parliament, it will have already been signed, and the debate and so the public debate may be allowed to be had, but it will have already been signed, and we won't have had the opportunity to have that debate before then. And so the ability for democracy to have occurred, the ability for a proper democratic process won't have happened, and we won't have been able to have that discussion. And I think that is pretty critical, which is a very good reason for all of the parties to support a proper debate in a select committee process around curtailed around the investor-state dispute settlement provisions. So what is it that we're actually debating? Why are we worried? It's a mechanism by which the multinational corporations can go to some international arbitration tribunal and sue the governments of countries in which they invest. We know that I think one of the speakers mentioned that there's around 3,000 of these. We know that they're not all bad. We know that some of them, that there are provisions that that actually do protect countries, but we also know that there have been many issues raised about some of them, and I know the Greens mentioned the several of those, the German decision.
Order. Can I just remind, I think, members that they should, and I did make the point to David Bennett, members should address the chair and occasionally glance in the direction of the chair to ascertain whether the chair is on his feet, trying to quietly ask the member to finish. The member's time has expired.